As someone who skates in the fakie stance lots and with no real justification considers it the best stance, it brings me great pleasure to bring you episode 4, covering perhaps the most legendary fakie ollie of all time. There's a warranted, revered onlooking toward tricks over picnic tables. Picnic tables have since been fakie heel flipped, kick flipped long ways, kick flip late shoved, and even switch back 3'd. But in my mind, somehow, none of them really hold a candle to how good this fakie ollie was done, how early in skateboarding it was done. 1991. The skateboarder is Sheffey, and this is from the video, A Soldier's Story. So the key mechanics I see to this being humanly possible are A, a lot of speed, B, a lot of pop, and C, the critical detail for me, I call this the Suchu thing, after the ridiculously rubber Mark Suchu, if you aren't familiar with him. Suchu is a pro skater in the present day, and these kind of tricks have been done by others, but popularized by him, and this Sheffey fakie ollie is the earliest instance of the Suchu thing that I personally have ever seen. So let's break it down. I recently learned front 180 fakie manual backside half cab outs, as in back the way you came. After a few new learns similar to that, I found certainty in the tactic that to do these Suchu tricks, you have to try to execute the trick with just the lower half of your body and keep your shoulders and the upper half of your body as straight and unmoved as you possibly can. Anyone who's fakie ollied over anything knows that shifting one way or shifting the other is going to make it much easier to clear the obstacle. Perhaps simply by the virtue that your board traveling sideways takes up less space along the axis that you're traveling on. But the critical detail to successfully utilizing this shifty is the shoulders. Your body is a rubber band. If you want to do one of those 180 one way, 180 back tricks, you pretty much have to do it with only your bottom half, so that your shoulders can help guide you back to the stance you started in. Just look at the subject matter, it's a perfect example. He almost does a full half cab in terms of rotation, and then manhandles it all the way back to fakie, thanks to his shoulders. And on a primitive board, no less. Not the company Primitive, obviously, the adjective. But quick shout out to Primitive, they have a ridiculous team. Brian Peacock needs way more shine. What's going on there? His front foot, which in fakie happens to be the foot trailing behind him, is pretty far back on the board, as in toward his popping foot. I know that all sounds backwards. Well, that's because fakie means backwards. Comprende? Onward. He does that with his front foot so that this turn into the shifty functions effectively and with less resistance from that foot on the way up into the air. He really clears it by a lot too, all things considered. The form is great, but the power is greater. In a 2015 article, Jenkem magazine put this atop a list of 10 as the best fakie ollie of all time. The article made the insightful visual connection between this fakie ollie and that of quote-unquote action film heroes jumping croc-filled rivers. Plenty agreeable and beautifully articulated, if you ask me. His board has already turned 90 degrees before it's even fully above the seat of the table, and his shoulders contradict the motion perfectly. His strategy is clear. I mean, I hope. Otherwise, I might be kooking it. Rubber band, okay? Rubber band. It's a thing. hope this has aided your perspective on this trick, these kinds of tricks, and skateboarding in general. Did I miss anything? Say words below. Peace. I'm Reese.